You played a lot of zone the other day. How much of that was because of fouls, maybe because of pit driving a lot, and how much have you practiced zone? How you practice zone prior to Saturday game?
We still practice it a little bit. We don't practice it a lot, but it was strictly just for foul problems. That's what it was. Well, I shouldn't say it like that, because we were, Garrison, and Kenny had 3, Garrison had 2, Luke had 2, I think, all in the first half, and so I didn't like that scenario, but also we weren't doing a good job of closing off the driving lanes, and so just try something different and see if it works. But we've practiced it. We probably practice it more this year than we have last couple of years.
What did you like that you saw from it? Do you think you might consider using it a little bit more down the road?
Yeah, I'll consider using it more down the road if we can't keep them out of the lane, if we're making every shot. One year we played Louisville, 2 great games, our place, their place. I think Marcus made a shot to beat them here, and we lost up there. And in the tournament, we can't stop them. And so we went to zone, and we hadn't practiced it for 3 weeks. But they started missing shots, and so it makes you look good. Heck, we hadn't even practiced it, that kind of thing. But so sometimes it's the way the other teams attack it too. If they're successful with it, I don't like it. So if they're successful with it, I'll be the first guy to get out of it.
The challenges Michael Johnson.
Much more so than last year. He's a complete all-around player. His shot is much better this year. His percentages are much better from the floor. Percentage is much better from three-point line. Everybody says, well, he's not running the team as much because his assist numbers are down. Well, look at the numbers. His score numbers were way up. It didn't make any difference if he passes the ball to a guy who scores or if he scores. I've always liked point guards who can score, but I just think he's a more complete player. He's good defensively. He's passes the ball, makes the pass at the right time to the right man, and he shoots the ball and it goes in. I think the other night against Miami, I watched part of the game. I think it was like 6 for 8, 4 for 6, or something like that. From 3, those are fantastic numbers, and defensively, he's good too. So I think he's much more complete point guard than he has been in the past. To me, it shows that there's been quite a bit of sweat.
So how do you slow him down?
Try to stay in front of him. Try to stop him from penetrating. The same thing you do to everybody. And the Johnson kid from Pittsburgh, comes at you to run and start full speed, 94 feet. And Markel doesn't do it that much that way, but still, thank you, sir. Straight, Sprite, 0, nothing else. But still, you got all point guards that do a good job penetrating. You got to try to keep them out of the lane, keep the ball from them.
Coach, Luke May had a huge game against State last year, 33-17. What do you remember about that game and his performance? Was he in a zone or anything like that? Because he hasn't had that big of a game since then, I don't think.
Well, he was in the zone for about 26 games last year. I mean, he was really, really good. And it hasn't shown up at that level yet, but I still think it's going to. And the other thing is that our team last year with Joel and Theo, they really understood when one guy was hot, they really got the ball to that guy. He started out was it Boston College came here? Just unbelievable. They kept looking for him. And so I think that was one of the great qualities about last year's team, that they found the guy who's really got it going, and they gave him the ball at every opportunity. And so far this year, we haven't found anybody like that to try to make sure that they did it or we had to do it as a coaching staff ourselves.
Do you think teams are defending him any differently this year?
Yeah. I mean, last year they said, okay, Luke May. So, he averaged whatever he averaged his sophomore year. He hadn't proven himself. Now he's proven himself. So I've always said that the greatest thing you have is when guys play at the top of their game, when they're the emphasis of the other team's defense. And that's what he's become. More information you need, I still say that Brad Daugherty should be considered one of the 5 best players to ever play here, because he was the most efficient. Every time we left the locker room, the other team left the locker room, we got to stop Brad Daugherty. He led the nation in field goal percentage. That's pretty good. And so I think that those kind of guys, that when the defense is aimed at stopping them and they still produce, then you're really accomplishing something. But last year, they thought about Joel and Theo and Cam and all the old Luke. Luke, he didn't score a field goal in the Final Four.
What do you think about Kevin Keats and what he's done with that program in a short period of time?
Kevin's done a heck of a job. He's got the kids playing a different style that he's very comfortable with. they're very comfortable with because they're successful with it. They believe in it. He did a fantastic job at Wilmington. He was P.J. Harrison's coach in high school, so I've known Kevin and seen him coach, but he's done a great job and got the kids to buy into what he wants to do. And 13-1? I don't have to say much past that.
Why do you think he's been able to be so successful so fast with that transition, going to that program from UCW?
You'd have to ask him what he thinks are the most important things, but I think the biggest thing is he's got the kids to buy into that style of play. Even Abu last year got fewer touches than he had gotten previously. Abu was still a heck of a load to handle for everybody. Yurt 7, the same thing. He hadn't gotten it as much as he ended up getting it, and so I think that he got those guys who were still from Mark's team to buy in. And if you're there second year nowadays, 2 years you turn 75% of your program turns over. So it's your guys who are coming in.
Roy, you mentioned some pros and cons after the game. I was curious, in watching game film, did your opinions change on any of those fronts?
No, we just took some bad shots, took some hurried shots, did make some silly plays, but also made some really good plays. I mean, we've got it, and you've heard me plenty of times, I don't watch the score, but I knew we were up pretty significantly in the first half. And then all of a sudden, we take a terrible shot, and then we back off of a guy who's got the ball and just back off, say, that's not my man, and he shoots a three-pointer, and then we go down and take another terrible shot, and they score, and all of a sudden, I wasn't feeling as comfortable. So still some plays, but no, I thought we did some good things. I loved the unselfishness other than about 3 possessions. And 24 assists on Steve Helton, 32 field goals. Defensive grades still weren't the kind of grades that we always really like. But we had, I think, 3 guys or 4 guys to qualify. We've had a couple games this year where no one even qualified. So we like that part of it too.
Just kind of piggyback off.
Barry's there thinking he's trying to figure out what question he's going to ask. Okay.
You did say Luke was being defended differently. What does he do for a breakout or a bigger game? And why isn't his points being down just slightly not anything to be concerned about?
Because the other team is trying to defend him more. I mean, you think about it, guys. Start for us last year, what did he average as a sophomore? 5. I wouldn't worry about that guy either. I'd guard somebody else, and I would emphasize them. And then all of a sudden, after those 25, 26 games where he was great, and people started defending him differently. This year, he's picked preseason, first team All-ACC. Some people had him picked All-American. So the other team's defense is going to be aimed at him. Early in the season, late in the season, things change because you go by what a guy's doing during the course of the season. But is he going to have that kind of breakout game where he had last year? I hope so, but I don't know. But that's okay. Marcus Page, his sophomore year, he was off the charts. And then what people did, they tried to guard him differently, but we still were able to win. You don't have to have one guy getting 35 or something if they're still playing effectively. And I think Marcus was still playing effectively. He has a last-second shot to beat Louisville. He has a last-second shot to beat State. 30 points a couple of times. And then the next year, what do you have at Florida State?
30 to 31.
Man, nobody talked about it. Big Price at 39 and 23. So Luke will be all right if somebody else steps forward too, but we need him to play better. We need him to shoot a higher percentage. We need him to rebound the ball more. We need him to play better defense. But a lot of it does depend on how much the other team, how much they want to emphasize.
Coach, what is it about P&C Arena? You guys have won 7 straight to kind of make it your home away from home.
I've never lost to a building and never had a building win a game for me. We've generally played pretty well over there. And they whacked us one year where right before the half they threw it into a guy who drilled 70 feet and laid it up and nobody took it. So I wasn't very pleased then. That was bad coaching or stupid players or a combination of both. But most of the time we've been pretty focused and play on the road. And again, I get excited to go over there and play in their house.
I was thinking about Sears, the way he started the season, and I started remembering how we used to talk about Coach Smith breaking down freshmen's games and them have to get their confidence back. Do you do that? Is that a vestige of another time when players were going to be here their whole career?
I don't know. I didn't even believe that with Coach Smith. I really didn't. I mean, what did he do to Antoine Jameson? mean, oh, hello, Pete, nobody thought he was going to be that good. Michael, he didn't try to break down Michael. Sam started as a freshman, and he was pretty good. James started as a freshman, played 14 games till he broke his foot. I think it's, just think about it, guys. Did you ever really, really think somebody tried to break somebody down so they could lose? I mean, that's not real bright, in my opinion. I think what it is different kids make the adjustment quicker, easier. Anyway, most of the time, I think the freshmen that don't, and I'm saying most of the time, not just a serious case or anything, but answering a rhetorical question. Most of the time, freshmen don't play as much early because they're a little bit behind defensively. If you're the best player in high school, you want the ball, what do? You go get it. They give it to you. You know, throw me the ball, okay? Coach tells them to throw the inbounds pass. I saw Marvin Williams take the inbounds pass against the press and dribble it down the court and shoot. And that was good. But the next time they didn't get it into him, so the coach told Marvin to take it out. So Marvin took it out, but it wasn't Marvin he could throw the ball to inside. But when you're a freshman, you're a creature of habit that you could do just about anything you wanted to do. And now all of a sudden, you got to do it on the defensive end. Now all of a sudden, guys are maybe not as athletic, sometimes maybe more athletic than you are. And it's just an adjustment. But honest to God, I was with the guy for 10 years. We never talked about breaking a guy down. We talked about, hey, see the man, see the ball. We talked about that a lot. You know, and that helps you if you're defensively. And some guys, when they come in, they're streak shooters. You want them to be pure shooters where they make more shots. So I guess the answer to your question is no. That's a long no, wasn't it?
What challenges does their depth present? They're going, I guess, 10 guys deep, and they're getting a bunch of points off the bench. How does that test you guys?
Well, hopefully we'll have to test them the same way because we play, without Sterling. He's not going to play tomorrow night without him again. It's our depth is a little different. The biggest problem it is for us is having all our players remember who the heck they're guarding. If Doran goes out and another guy comes in, you can't run over the bench and stand in front of Doran. You need to guard the guy who's taking his place out on the court. That's the best way to stop Doran is when he's out of the game. But I think that that's the biggest thing to us is new point guard, freshman point guard. Times in the past we'd have guys, hey guys, who's got 21? And Cody's not that familiar with it yet, nor has Seventh had enough experience. But hopefully we'll cause them the same kind of problems as well. Because let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys averaging over 11.7 minutes a game. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's, well, we should say 8 for us because one of our guys was starting. So it's 8 of our guys. But B-Rob's only got 9.8, so he's probably going to play double figures.
Well, we've got no more detailed picture of Sterling Mellon's injury or how long he might be out.
We don't have any idea how long he's going to be out. It's a process that you go through that you lose swelling or stop hurting or whatever comes next. But we're going on a day-by-day basis. There's no set timetable, set plan. We're just going to wait and see what happens. And with Kobe's was a little different. But what we do with Kobe is we set him out so it wouldn't hurt. I think that always drives, unless the doctors come and say he's going to have surgery, we're going to do this procedure, we're going to do that procedure. I just tell them, let me know when he can practice.
The Sears said last week that one of the most important things for him is learning to react and not think on the floor. As a result, he'll be quicker, especially with his first step. Have you seen gradual progress in that?
You watch the game Saturday against Pittsburgh. One time they drove the baseline, Johnson does, and he lays it up. And it was Luke May, a senior, that didn't get across the lane. And I yelled at Luke, talked to the team guys, we work on that every day. And Nasir goes in the game, and Johnson drives Kobe, and Nasir crosses the lane and gets Johnson stopped, and he steps on the baseline. That's something that he is learning and reacting quicker than he did in the past, and I think that's something that he'll continue to get better at. But I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen Kobe and Nasir both get very excited about defensive play. So that's part of the battle too, just getting them to understand what it is.
You and Keats are both good dressers. Who would you say is the better dresser between both of you?
I'd say I'm a little more conservative, you know, but you know, it's so crazy. I mean, and you guys do it. Some of you guys may have did it. Okay, criticize me for all my plaid coats. Watch freaking Sports Center. God Almighty, some of those guys said that's a Roy Williams coat. Well, now they're all wearing them. The other day, at football game and basketball and Sports Center, I saw 9 people, 7 of them had on plaid coats. I mean, seriously. So, you know, I'm a trendsetter, I guess. It's time for this freaking press conference to be over. Anybody else got anything?
We'll get to Luke.
That's right. Thanks, Coach.